I'm back again with the word from God. I want to start off by getting to the point where Hezekiah in the Bible, it was Isaiah 38. He had just, well, it was actually, it starts off at Isaiah 37. He had just prayed to God about an enemy that came up against him very harshly in his life. And so God sent word through Isaiah the prophet as to what he was going to do because Hezekiah knew that he couldn't fight the battle alone. He prayed to God. He left the matter to God and he went on about his day. He had faith, knowing that God was going to bring him through and he wasn't going to allow anything to sidetrack him in believing otherwise. So Isaiah then comes in because God sent him with a message to give to Isaiah. So when he took the message to Isaiah, he told him that about the things that was getting ready to take place against his enemies for coming up against him. So after that, God brought through a mighty, strong glory. And I want to stop right there because some of you, you all have just walked in, you just started receiving the good things that God had for you. You just got your job. You just got the keys to your new house. You just got over a sickness or whatever it is that God has just brought you through. You're to that point now, you're celebrating, you're happy. And now all of a sudden it's getting down to the point where you have just been hit with a mighty strong wind that came in and brought back the same troubles that God had just brought you out of. Some of you, you might be facing evictions. Some of you, you went to the doctor, you found out you're sick. Some of you, you can't afford the bills that God has placed before you. And it seems like you're not going to be able to make it through what seems to be a dead situation that has arisen up in your life. But God wants you to know today, just like Hezekiah, he was in that same place. His faith was put to the test. The enemy wanted to show him that he's not as strong as he said he was. His faith is not as strong in God as he said he was. All you have to do is just hit him with sickness. All you have to do is hit him with eviction. All you have to do is hit him with getting ready to lose everything that God has just made a way for you to be able to receive. And then we'll see just how great and just how strong their faith are. They just finished praising God in the temple. They just cried out to the Lord about their matters. Let's see just how long their faith will last. And so Hezekiah, feeling anguish, feeling abandoned, all of these bitter thoughts are coming to his mind and trying to push him so far into actually believing that God is not going to come through and help him. It pushed his faith just that strong. And so Hezekiah, in his moment of weakness, he knew still that God's goodness and his mercy still applied to him, even though he had a short moment of anguish. And some of you today, you need to get like Hezekiah. You might have to cry it out. You might have to get angry. You might have to get upset for a moment, but don't get stuck in that place of regret. You can't go back and change and fix the problems that have occurred. You have to hand it over to God and to know that that situation and that matter is going to be handled. God is going to subdue the very enemy that is trying to attack you. You have to know and believe that no matter what the situation looks like, God will come through. He will not leave you in that place of regret. But while you are waiting for him, we have to get to a point to where we have patience. We have to get to a point to where we decide in our minds that no matter what it is that is coming up against us, and no matter what it is that we are facing, God can subdue it. God can fix it. There is nothing too great or nothing too bad or nothing too horrible or no sickness or anything that is trying to exalt itself against you that God cannot cause you to exalt over it. Hezekiah was lived out all his days doing what was pleasing and what was right in the sight of God. And all of a sudden, he is hit with sickness, a sickness that is going to cause him to die. He will not get to see another day in the land of the living. So he turns over and he cried. He gave it all over to God. And he moved forward. He handled that situation just like he handled the matter about just like he handled the matter about the battle God had just brought him through against Assyria. So the enemy did not reap any joy from that matter. Maybe momentarily while he cried out to the Lord, but then God helped him to overcome that sickness, and he made it through. Well, I got a phone call just came in, so I'll probably finish this off either tomorrow. All right.